Hello, my friends. Coach Powers. Looking at the comments here, got another question, and this is, another super common question. How long does healing take? I mean, this is a question I get almost every week. I at least get one person reaching out to me on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, through my coaching websites. People find me, email me, and they ask, how long is it going to take, Coach? How long? What do you see? And again, these are bad questions, guys. I mean, they're really largely unanswerable, and I see them just flooding the Reddit forums and all these forums and groups and such, as if anyone in the comments can answer that. I mean, the very question, in a sense, kind of screams of rumination, although rumination feels like it's problem solving. But when you really think of it, how could anyone answer that? Do you know how many different variables are predictors in this thing? From, how long were you on the drug? How high of a dose were you on? What kind of drug were you taking? Were you taking other drugs? Why were you prescribed them? What was your childhood like? Did your parents have mental illness? Did your siblings have mental illness? Did you experience trauma as a child? Were you a shy child? What were your informative and developmental years and schooling? What was that like? Did you have a bad divorce? Did you have trouble finding someone to love you? Or, did someone break your heart? I mean, are you healthy? Do you have diabetes? Are you overweight? Are you underweight? Do you take care of yourself? Are you a smoker? There is 1,000 questions that go into this. And even then, we can only guesstimate, because some variables are just more powerful than others. So you have, physical health variables. You have predictors from childhood and biology and predispositions. You have attitude. You have belief systems. You have support, good or bad or toxic. You have, human heart. The heart and will to change is a pretty damn important piece of this, right? So assuming you're doing everything right and your variables are not too bad, but even then, how long does healing take? Well, then we have to look at what was your dose, what was the duration, and what are you dealing with? How is it going? I've seen people walk off of 2 milligrams of Klonopin after 25 years and do really well. I mean, in a matter of months, that's it. We talk a few times and they go about their life and live it. And I've seen people that were on the drug for 2 months and struggle, for a year or two to try to level out. Now, usually that's not necessarily just because of the drug, but because of the manifestations that the drug created, like profound insomnia, rumination. Like if you have taken a benzo for a couple months and then you developed horrible insomnia coming off of it, maybe you were on the benzo for insomnia, a year or two goes by, you're still going, I'm in bind, I'm in protracted. How do you know? Well, I'm still having insomnia, right? But insomnia is its own self-perpetuating problem. And what else? Well, I have anxiety and depression, and I feel tired, and I have muscle twitches, and my nervous system feels like it's on fire. And you might think, that's all benzos. But, well, is it? Because have you ever been on an insomnia forum? Have you ever spoken to someone who didn't take benzos that had very bad sleep problems? You might be shocked to find out how similar it is. And if you really understand human anatomy and physiology, and, for example, the role of the limbic system and the impact of the limbic system, you shouldn't be, and you probably won't be shocked to know that these things are so similar. Insomnia, people with health anxiety, health OCD, obsessive rumination, traumatic, post-traumatic stress. These things impact very similar components and parts of the brain in a very similar way as benzos. In fact, we take benzos to try to tranquilize the amygdala and the hypothalamus and the limbic system in hopes of, sort of putting a Band-Aid over some of this stuff. So there's so many predictors, it's really hard to tell, and also as a benzo coach, it's like whatever I say, I run the risk of, giving you bad information or upsetting you or giving you false hope. I mean, it really is a situation when people ask me this, I don't think they realize the predicament they're putting me in. How do I answer that? I will say this, if you're doing everything right and you're really working on yourself, you're going to heal a lot faster than if you're not. And if you've only been on the drug a few months, a year or two, maybe at a lower dose, that's about as good as it gets. That's pretty good. That's really, really good. On the other hand, if you've been on the drug long time and higher dose, then the self-work, the way you taper, and how you approach all of this becomes, I think, even more important. And then again, guys, guess what? There's the roll of the dice, right? Even as I say all of this, I'm thinking back on so many experiences that I've had, and people that, you guys on black and white on paper, you would have said, oh boy, they're going to have a hard time, and they didn't, and vice versa and stuff, right? So there is this sort of, rolling the dice of how is this going to go for me. But my emphasis is always, don't look at things as though you don't have an active role in your own recovery, because you do. And it's very, very more, that's a very much more important predictor for how long it will take to heal than just, some arbitrary abstract, consensus in the benzo groups.